This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
GBV survivors urged to let courts deal with perpetrators. Recommendation made for public servants to be returning officers. And airfare subsidy for Kerema district. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. During the Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Gender-Based Violence inquiry, a call has been made by both the committee and the Magistrate Service of PNG to introduce the no-drop policy on GBV cases. The Magistrate Service of PNG stated that this will give confidence in the court systems of PNG and will discourage perpetrators of gender-based violence.
Speaking during the inquiry session, the Deputy Chief Magistrate of the Magistrate Service of PNG, Josephine Kilage, urged survivors of gender-based violence to let the court systems deal with the perpetrators.
Police station. This is passing the one bill compensation, sigan, and then behind them this the same offense come up. One thing that we find is that people who provide the service are more reluctant not to help when people go back to, they just go and withdraw the complaints that are before them.
She said most often the GBV cases are dealt with in customary ways, and these only encourage more GBV cases to arise.
We have to have a change in the legislation that there's a no-drop policy where if a matter is referred to the police, it must go the whole process to conviction. And maybe we'll see our statistics go up. Whether the family receives compensation, whether the family wants to withdraw the matter, it should be in law that that is no longer an option.
This idea of no-drop policy was also supported by the Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Gender-Based Violence. They noted that this is something the committee will have a look at and urged the Magistrate Service of PNG to work closely with them to see this policy come to success. Currently, statistics from the Health Department has shown that more than 30,000 cases of GBV is being treated at the hospitals. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
The Secretary for the Department of Personnel Management, Taye Sansan, has called on public servants to be appointed as returning officers and as a recommendation for the next general elections. Secretary Sansan made this call during the 2022 Election Summit at the APEC House, hosted by the Interdepartmental Election Committee last week.
Secretary Sansan said if public servants took on the role as returning officers, it will ease the election process.
The returning officers or election officials, especially returning officers and assistant returning officers, we are suggesting that these people should be public servants appointed by the IDEC. And these people must sign, oath of office for the period of the elections. So any of these officials or public servants found to be in breach of the oath of office, including non-compliance to the general orders, they should be treated, they should be disciplined under the general orders accordingly.
She also stressed on public servants' involvement in elections. She says public servants must resign 12 months prior to them contesting in the elections.
The first change was on, resignation. Public servants to resign 12 months in advance, 12 months prior to the issue of writs. So this particular amendment will come into effect in the next election, 2027. So public servants are expected to resign at least in 2026. I think this change was made in order to see who in the public service is going to stand for elections.
Sansan said if a public servant wants to return to work after contesting the elections, they must come back after 5 years.
Also, the public servants who contested the elections and lost the elections, they can come back after 5 years. So that law was passed, so it's a current law.
Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
Parties to the K92 mining project memorandum of agreement successfully concluded a two-day consultative meeting in Goroka on May 31st to June 1st, creating a pathway towards finalizing the MOA that was initiated in 2020 in Kokopo, East New Britain Province. The parties are the State, the Eastern Highlands Provincial Government, the Agarabi Rural Local Level Government, K92 Mine Limited, the Bilimoya Landowners Association and the Associated Landowners.
The stakeholders identified key action items which must be completed in 2 months, after which time it is anticipated that a date for the finalization of the initiated 2020 MOA review will be set. The action items are: 1. The national content. 1A, Business Development and Procurement Supplies Plan Guideline. This is developed by the Department of Commerce and Industry. The plan is a guide by which landowner companies like BLA can potentially participate in business spin-offs contracted out by mines. The DCI will engage with K92 Mine to ensure that the company's business development plan is aligned with the NC and relevant laws. The DCI will also engage with the BLA to discuss their business plans and aspirations. 1B, Labour and Employment. This is a training plan developed by K92 Mine, which the Department of Industrial Relations will engage with K92 Mine on and to ensure labour laws are complied with. The department will also engage with the BLA to discuss their plans in terms of employment and training. 2. Lands Commission, formerly Land Titles Commission. The LC will set up a budget for hearing and circulate to the parties for budgetary commitments and contributions. And 3. MOA. The BLA will submit to all parties a list of additional benefits to include in MOA for parties' consent. All parties have been urged to work towards completing their tasks so that the initial MOA can be signed and implemented. Chairman of the meeting, Andrew Gunua, thanked leaders of all parties for their commitment, respect and understanding during the meeting, despite challenges and the different dynamics experienced. The leaders are the BLA Chairman Johnson Urinke, K92 Mines Vice President External Affairs and Sustainable Development Philip Sama, Eastern Highlands Provincial Administrator Alan Loss, Agarabi Rural Local Level Government President Pangu Edward, leaders of the Associated Landowners, and Michael Wow and the state team. The leaders expressed satisfaction on the outcome of the meeting, adding that they would work together for the common good for all parties, especially the landowners of the project. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Dagoa Catholic Health Center in the East Sepik Province is one of the rural health facility that is in need of repair. The clinic buildings and staff houses are slowly crumbling and sometimes medical supplies don't arrive on time.
Church-run rural health facilities are facing many challenges that require assistance to enable productive service delivery, and Dagoa Health Center is one of them. The health center serves more than 19,000 people in the area with 400 to 500 outpatient cases monthly, 15 deliveries, and admit about 17 patients with serious illness monthly. However, the sister in charge of Dagoa Health Center says, since its establishment in 1956, no major maintenance and repair has been done. She stressed that they always run short of diesel not only for the generator but also to transport the patients in emergency cases to the Boram Hospital.
The challenges that we face, we usually run short of diesel to contribute to the parish generator. Sometimes we don't have diesel for the patients in emergency, transporting them to the hospital. Because of the geographic area, we don't often go out to the villages to conduct normal maternal child clinics. With the building and the instruments like IV stand, because the building is all, including all the equipment to be used, like IV stand, blood pressure machine, and the necessary medical equipment like vacuum machine for us to look after the mothers when during deliveries. So we have to refer them to the hospital to get more care. to prevent complications.
She added that they really need a solar installation and a generator in order to provide the required health service daily.
We need especially lighting system, solar energy, including the generator as well. We're currently using the parish generator, and normally it starts at 7 p.m. in the night and goes off at 9 o'clock at night. Then we out of generator service, especially looking after patients during the night. We use torchlights and not providing proper health care to the patients.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Kerema Open member Thomas Opa, as chairman of the District Development Authority, formally announced yesterday that the Kerema District Development Authority has partnered with North Coast Aviation to subsidize airfares for passenger and cargo to alleviate some of the burdens faced by the local Khmer people. Mr. Opa presented a 500,000 kina check to North Coast Aviation for passenger and freight subsidies scheme for the district.
Since 1975, the hinterlands of the Gulf province has seen little to no service delivery. The people living in these mountains are the local Khmer people, known for their resilience. The announcement of the passenger and freight subsidy scheme for the district will subsidize the cost of passenger and freight by 50%, as made known by the local member.
This payment of 500,000 for us, we are very happy to be partnering with North Coast Aviation. North Coast Aviation have been providing passenger and freight services to some of the most remote parts of Papua New Guinea, mostly in Morobe, Medan.
The subsidized airfares will assist people seeking medical attention, pregnant mothers, teachers, medical workers and students who can now travel with ease and convenience. This was made known by a very grateful president of Kantiba LLG, Jerry Yaningao.
As a president, Mr. Patient, emergency, osaitogimi, osam, pay blomilong yusim lo family, Mr. Mbaim Barus Blongore come down. One black and pen me plus Ximantaplo Mountain.
The Kerema Open member revealed that 3 mountain ports of Kantiba, Kamina and Kanabea will be the port of calls. The airfares that now cost 480 kina will now allow the people to pay only 240 kina for a one-way trip to Kerema or Lae, vice versa, depending on the locals' nearest destinations.
For our people up there in the mountains, you can imagine the difficulty of walking about 3 days to come to Kerema. And also a day or two to go to Lae through Asaki, Bolo, and then go to Lae. So it's quite difficult for our people up in the mountains. And North Coast Aviation has been doing a wonderful job in making sure that medicines go in, teachers go in, health workers go in, school supplies go in.
For the North Coast Aviation and the Kerema DDA to enter in a partnership is only a natural fit. For over 34 years, and with a staff base of 90 based in the Morobe province, the partnership is very much welcomed by CEO Jeff Teal.
That's why I really thank the Honourable Member for Kerema, Thomas Opa, for his initiative in providing subsidised air travel to those remote places that would possibly not have a service at all.
The Gulf province is one of the least developed provinces in PNG, while producing some of the best brains this country has to offer, boasting leaders like the late Sir Makera Morauta, late Sir Tore Lokoloko, and the late Sir Albert Mari Kiki. The young Kerema MP, Thomas Opa, is forging his own path to leave his own legacy in ensuring service delivery is received even in the remotest parts of the Gulf province. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Work is currently in progress in many of the existing and new highways around the country to fulfill the national government's Connect PNG program. Works and Highways Minister Solan Merisim says work on the Morobe to Gulf Road work is progressing as contractors are continuing roadworks.
Minister Merisim highlighted that the Morobe to Gulf Road is one of the missing road link in the country.
From Ebo down to Maraloa, contractors are already on the ground. And up to Blolo, the contractors are already working. Those are missing links to connect Maraloa down to Gulf, so they're working already.
He says by 2025, most of these roads should be connected, including the Meding-Baya Road.
2024-25, most of these roads will be all connected. We have Meding to Ramu. There's only one section that is going out on tender. Once we award a contract to a contractor, once he seals the road, that road will be in good.
Merisim says there is also massive work going on at the Okuk Highway and there is good progress from Watarais up to Kainantu and Henganofi.
Now you drive up the Highlands Highway, there's massive work happening up there from Najab Tenor right up to Watarais, up to Kainantu, down to Henganofi. There's good progress.
He says for some of these projects, there has been counter-funding from donors, including AusAid and the government of PNG.
That road is under Australian aid program, but also Connect PNG, so government also, our government coming in as well too. So while the funding from the AusAid is not coming on time, the Connect PNG funding is there already to support them continue and then wait for the other money to come in. So some of the funding that is coming in are counterpart funding. Government and the Connect PNG will put money, they also, our donors are putting money down as well. So we are partnering and delivering.
The minister says when partners don't fund projects on time, the government steps in to fund these important projects to ensure there is continuous progress in these major roads. He says they have given deadlines to contractors to work and deliver these major projects on time. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
The National Capital District Commission has organised the biggest city cleanup event today with the aim to combat plastic pollution and create a cleaner, greener and healthier environment for all residents of Port Moresby. The cleanup efforts had a significant impact with participation of city residents, NCDC staff, business houses and community organisations.
Over 2,500 city residents, 50 NCDC staff, and 200 community cleaners participated in the cleanup event this morning. "500 bags of plastic waste were collected, demonstrating their commitment to creating a cleaner and more sustainable city. This event highlighted the collective effort required to combat plastic pollution and emphasized on the importance of environmental conservation. It serves as a call to action for individuals and organizations to take responsibility for their waste and contribute to a greener future for Port Moresby.
Plastic you can work in planet until long. Now mama too you can work in flower or plastic so.
Governor of NCD, Powers Pakop, who also took part in the cleanathon, says the objective of the event is to raise awareness about the harmful effects of plastic pollution and mobilize the community to take action by actively participating in the cleanup efforts.
So some lab inside the city and must free of vending and place Lorban Mary recreate the Malalona, recuperate and minosem, oxim strong back, oxim good la thinking back, heavy or worried low walk only rouse him. So you line is start low market to you must respect him this.
The cleanup efforts are expected to result in cleaner streets, recreational areas and public spaces at the targeted areas. The event will also generate valuable data on the amount of plastic waste collected, which will contribute to future waste management strategies.
The campaign before the 2019 law, planning 1 million trees law for Mosby. Now, COVID come now, me stop him. But now, Babi starting Kenya. Me like planning plant the DY lo Mosby na. Mosby come up green, na by got DY, na by got shade, na piscine by come up.
This is a lead-up activity to the World Environment Day coming up this Monday. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, NCD Governor Powes Pakop, in his address during the city cleanup, outlined the activities leading up to the environment of the World Environment Day.
So important something, today, citywide cleanup day, and then tomorrow, by me working this work for the environment, and then Monday, Narpla day to actual day long when World Environment Day, Monday the 5th. So Monday the 5th, and me by relaunching me working on the campaign before the 2019 law, planning 1 million trees law for Mosby. Now COVID come now, me stop him. But now Babi starting Kenya.
Over 200 pastors and leaders from the Debanis Living Water Ministries throughout the country converged to the capital city for a 5-day church faith conference, which ended last night. The conference started midweek with a colorful official opening on Wednesday evening.
The highlight of the opening ceremony was the display of all the provincial flags of Papua New Guinea and Australia. The DLW youths displayed an array of spectacular contemporary music and dance performances representing all 22 provinces of the 4 regions. DLW Ministries founder and senior pastor Peter Solomon addressed the conference with the theme, Move Up to the Next Level. Speaking from the Bible text of Revelation chapter 4 verse 1, Pastor Solomon urged the leaders to move up to the next level to experience God's power at work in their lives and that of their people. With 43 years of experience in the ministry, Pastor Solomon, at the age of 63, told the leaders that he's as strong as he was 23 years ago and he wants to do more for God. He said, and I quote, "Move up to the next level and you will see what God is about to show you. Our Vision 2030, evangelism and church planting still remains and we'll make sure we plant the church in every province of this country." End quote. Pastor Freddie Francis of New Ireland acknowledged Pastor Solomon for the DLW ministries, of which he was honoured to be serving in his province. Pastor Francis said he will ensure that the work of God under the DLW ministries reaches the whole of New Ireland province. Pastor Stephen Bandy from Kimber said the conference was very powerful compared to 2017 because pastors from the province were the speakers. The conference ended last night with another spectacular performance by the DLW youths. The next conference will be held in 2 years' time. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
PNG NRI 2023 report has revealed that the youth unemployment rate in PNG is high, with approximately 17% of young people aged between 15 to 24 years being unemployed. This is a concern given that young people make up a significant portion of the population in PNG. The number of Papua New Guineans unemployed has moved one foreign-owned fast food outlet opting to stay open in the country and generate more jobs at the assistance of its local staff.
The unemployment rate in Port Moresby is high, with more than 50% of the unemployed in settlements and urban villages. Most of these people participate in some form of informal sector activities. For Lynette Omata and 24 other staff, being employed is a lifeline that enables them to look after their families. Operating for several years as KMC at the Club 21 premises at Gordon's, Omata worked for expert owners who wished to remain anonymous and were hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic and decided to close down the outlet in 2019 and move back to China. It was during this time that 25 local staff pleaded with the owners to remain open, as Lynette Omata retells.
I've been working with my bosses for 3 years, and last year, at the beginning of the year, we had some problems with the landlords, so the shop closed. And then we stayed for a year without working, but when we were working there with them, they were like family to us.
According to Omata, the owners heard their pleas and found a place where they have been operating for nearly 1 year, and the little salary received assists them to take care of the individual families.
After that, we told our boss if it's okay for him to open a shop so we can follow him, and he said, okay, it's okay. So, yeah, it's like a family to us. He's a nice person. He's good, caring. He cares for the staff.
Statistics show that the unemployment rate of the nation in 2022 remained unchanged at 2.8%. And while the government looks at ways to alleviate this ever-growing concern, only time will tell if this issue will be resolved. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll bring you more stories after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Moving to overseas news now. In a security forum in Singapore, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has urged nations across the Asia-Pacific region to do what they can to avoid a future conflict between China and the US.
I think the message that the Prime Minister delivered was calculated to be receptive to a broad common denominator in this region, and it's his first significant defence and foreign policy speech, and it follows some significant developments like AUKUS and the Defence Strategic Review announced in April, and I think this was his attempt to sell Australia to the region, if you like, in terms that were robust but also calculated not to offend.
The PM in this speech used the analogy of road rules to help prevent crashes and said that all countries needed to be responsible in some way for making sure that big nations were obeying those rules. He also argued that conflict is not inevitable in our region. What's your view on this? Are we sleepwalking towards some sort of conflict, or is the rhetoric around this dramatically overblown?
You're right. He did make a major pitch around the theme of guardrails, which is language that the United States has used to try and, in effect, put a kind of barrier between itself and China, which doesn't prevent competition but rather regulates it. So he was reinforcing that, and I think implicitly telling the Chinese it would be good to embrace at least that sort of minimum level of dialogue. It was very much around dialogue. He couched his references to defence with sort of diplomatic language. So he juxtaposed capability and relationships and deterrence and diplomacy. So it was, in a way, trying to say that Australia is there and doing something useful and brings heft, but he was definitely pitching it at such a level that it was designed to appeal to an audience in Southeast Asia and beyond.
In Mexico, there has been a gruesome discovery by local authorities who found a total of 45 bags containing body parts in a raven.
So the authorities in the western state of Jalisco have discovered 45 bags in a ravine, and these bags contain human remains, contain body parts. Now, they say that they went to this ravine near Guadalajara after a tip-off, and what they're saying is that their early testing of these human remains suggests that some of them have characteristics which would match them with 7 missing call center workers. Now, these call center workers, they're in their 20s and their 30s. They've been missing for a couple of weeks, and investigations have been ongoing into their disappearance. Their family members have taken to the streets, for example, calling for, more firepower, I guess, to the investigation, and saying that their phones simply went dark one day when they went to work. Now, what authorities had said ahead of this discovery was that their investigation had linked this call center to some kind of fraud or extortion, but we haven't heard more details of that yet. So now authorities, they're going through these many bags, dozens of bags found in this ravine. This area is a hotbed of cartel activity, and look, hundreds of people go missing there. Several hundred each year over the past few years. So I guess nothing new there in terms of Mexico or of this area, but I think the nature of this discovery, the number of bags, and the high-profile nature of the disappearance of these call center workers has meant that even in Mexico, this crime has broken through. So waiting for an update on authorities on whether, in fact, these are those missing workers.
There has been a catastrophic accident in eastern India where a train has derailed, leaving more than 200 people dead.
It was supposed to be an overnight train journey, but ended up in a disaster in the middle of the countryside. Carriages were toppled due to the powerful impact, smashing open the compartments. Rescue teams and residents climbed up the mangled wreckage to find survivors. Distraught relatives were praying for the safe recovery of their loved ones.
10-15 people fell on me when the accident happened and everything was haywire. I hurt my hand and also the back of my neck.
Emergency teams are working through the night to try to rescue those trapped inside the carriages. The government has dispatched more than 60 ambulances to take the injured to various hospitals.
We have got information, even collector has told that there have been casualties, but then since all are busy in rescue, we have not yet counted the number, so I can't officially confirm exact number. But yes, such a violent and tragic accident involving 3 trains.
It's not immediately clear what led to the derailment and subsequent collision. India has one of the largest train networks in the world, and accidents are common despite successive governments investing hundreds of millions of pounds to improve the infrastructure.
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. To an update on the inaugural OFC Women's Champions League. Today saw day 2 of the tournament, and the Solomon Islands Kolowale FC snatched a last-minute 1-0 win over Fiji's Labasa FC at the Seyubet Mari Stadium.
The Kolowale FC commenced their inaugural OFC Women's Champions League campaign with a 1-0 last-minute win over the Labasa Women FC. The winning goal was scored on the 91st minute after a closely fought match on both sides. Both sides walked to the dressing room scoreless to take the first half break. The game appeared to be a draw contest with just a few minutes out before game time until a calmly stroked arrow gave the win to the Solomon Islands women.
It wasn't until this touch on by Marina Joe in a
Meantime, Game 2 of Day 2 will be between host nation Papua New Guinea's Hekari United FC, who will take on the Samoan Women Football Club. Both teams have lost in their first matches respectively on Thursday. Lisa Punichukai Sports.
Following the third edition of the National Women's Lawn Bowls Challenge in Eastern Highlands Province 3 weeks ago, today witnessed the second last edition of the Men's National Championships competed at Maribarik's Lawn Bowl Club in Port Moresby. President of the PNG Bowls Association, Inc. Graham Sakora, told MTV's Trukai Sports that these games are lead-up tournaments to the 2023 World Bowls Championships that will take place in Gold Coast later this year.
13 clubs with 2 from Ley and Madang and 5 from the PNG Defence Bowling Club and 6 from Bisini Lawn Bowls Association were in action today in the round-robin playoffs in this 2 days national tournament. President of the PNG Bowls Association, Inc., Graham Sakora, said that 2 other provinces, namely Goroka, Mount Hagen and Bulolo, could not join due to some unforeseen circumstances.
Unfortunately, Goroka and Mount Hagen couldn't make it, and Bulolo. There's 3 clubs couldn't make it to Port Moresby due to some unforeseen circumstances.
He added that it would be exciting to see these teams that have missed out make an appearance in the July games.
But hopefully they'll make the next one in July.
Today saw the round robins competed, with a few more to go tomorrow as the tournament prepares to play its finals and elimination rounds.
Round robins, and then tomorrow we'll probably have a few more games of round robin, and then we're going to the finals and elimination.
President Graham says this tournament is a lead-up to the World Bowls Championships set for September this year at Gold Coast for both men and women, and they are hoping to get as many sponsors so they could raise sufficient funds to attend the event. Lisa Punichukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Moving to overseas sports now. In AFL, Melbourne have ended a two-game losing streak when they defeated Carlton last night.
Premiership forward Kasai Pickett celebrated his 22nd birthday with a clever goal. Harry Mackay booted 3 majors for the Blues to break his horror goal-kicking run. Bailey Fritsch booted 2 majors and produced a spectacular mark in the final term as the Demons kicked 8 goals 13-61 to the Blues 6 goals 8-44. Melbourne defender Jack Bowie was subbed off with concussion after a heavy hit. The Blues' defeat means the club has lost 5 consecutive games for the first time since 2019.
To Super Rugby, and the Brumbies are set to play in the quarterfinals next week after they were victorious over the Melbourne Rebels.
The Brumbies beat the Rebels 33 points to 17 in Canberra to secure a top 4 finish. The result also means the Rebels are eliminated from the finals race and will finish with another poor 4-10 record.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, few showers and possible thunderstorm. Daru, some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Kerema, few showers and possible thunderstorm. Then cloudy. Alatau, rain showers and thunderstorm. Popondetta, cloudy with some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. In the Momase region, Ley and Wewak, some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Medang, cloudy periods with some showers and possible thunderstorm. Vanimo, cloudy periods with few showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, Kavieng and Buka, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorm. Kokopo and Rabaul, few showers and possible thunderstorm. Kimbe, some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, few showers and possible thunderstorm. Goroka and Kundiawa, some showers and possible thunderstorm. Mendi and Wabeg, rain showers and possible thunderstorm.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Saturday, 3rd of June 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.